Chapter 1. Arjun Vishad Yog, the Despondency of Arjun. In our previous episode, we explored the introduction to the Bhagavad Gita. Every spiritual journey begins by recognizing the battlefield within. Though the Gita is set amidst kings and warriors, it truly reflects the subtle wars we fight inside, between clarity and confusion, wisdom and impulse, discipline and desire, soul and ego. This first chapter is not merely a prelude. It is a profound spiritual map. In ancient Indian scriptures, the first chapter often contains the seed of the entire message. Here, sage Vedavyas chooses the battlefield of Kurukshetra to reveal the yogi's first and most personal struggle, the sincere attempt to walk towards self-realization. To understand this first verse deeply is to understand the very nature of our daily spiritual battles. Please note that if you grasp the essence of the first chapter with calm inner awareness, the rest of the Gita will unfold before you naturally. So, let us begin, with silence in the mind and openness in the heart. Now let's start with literal meaning of first verse of first chapter. Dhritarashtra uvacha dharmakshetre kurukshetre samaveta yuyutsava mamakah pandavaschaiva kima kurvat Sanjaya. Meaning, Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, when my sons and the sons of Pandu gathered on the sacred field of Kurukshetra, eager to fight, what did they do? Now let's decode the shloka with its inner meaning and symbolism. King Dhritarashtra, though a ruler, is blind, just like our untrained mind that operates through senses but lacks wisdom. He represents a mind that knows what is right, yet still supports what is wrong. Even though he is aware his sons, the Kauravas, are unrighteous, he still leans toward them. This is the blind mind, attached to its desires, even at the cost of dharma. Sanjaya, to whom the king speaks, symbolizes inner insight, the pure, impartial power of self-reflection that arises in a seeker who has begun to conquer himself. When Dhritarashtra asks, what did they do? He's not just inquiring about a physical war. This is the question that every seeker must ask each day. When my higher aspirations and my lower tendencies stood face to face on the field of my body and mind, who won today? The two armies, the sons of Pandu and the Kauravas, are not external forces. They are our own qualities. Pandavas, the higher virtues, self-control, discrimination, sincerity, and the pull toward the soul. Kauravas, the restless, undisciplined desires, mental habits, and attachments that drag us outward into the world. Kurukshetra means the field of action, and Dharmakshetra means the field of righteousness. Together they point to the sacred battleground of our own life, our own body and consciousness, where this inner war takes place every single day. Each human being carries 3 levels of this inner field. First, Kurukshetra, the outer field, our senses, actions, and physical behaviors, how we speak, act, and interact in the world. This is where the war between good and evil begins, right action versus wrong action. Second, Dharmakshetra Kurukshetra, the middle field, the spine and subtle energy centers within. This is where we fight our psychological battles between restlessness and stillness, distraction and focus, sense desires and soul desires. And third, Dharmakshetra, the inner sanctum, the brain's higher centers, the spiritual eye, the 1,000-petaled lotus, where divine consciousness dwells. This is the field of deep yoga and meditation, where the ego dissolves and the soul merges back with spirit. The Gita begins here to remind us, this war is not just historical, it is eternal. The soul, seeking liberation, must pass through these 3 levels of battle. Now listen carefully, that why the first shloka matters deeply. Why does sage Vedvyas begin this eternal dialogue with a blind king asking a question? Because self-awareness begins with the desire to know. Before wisdom can enter, the seeker must first realize there is a conflict, there is a war, and I am both the battlefield and the warrior. And so begins the journey, from blindness to insight, from ego to soul, from questions to divine answers. Each night, the yogi sits quietly and asks his own inner Sanjay, gathered on the sacred field of my life, my thoughts and my tendencies, what did they do today? Which part of me won? This is the sacred introspection that transforms ordinary life into the path of yoga. Let us now reflect on how the wisdom of this shloka applies to our daily life. Listen with full attention and an open heart. Whether you are a student, a householder, a monk, or a spiritual aspirant, your life is the Kurukshetra. Your mind is Dhritarashtra. Your conscience is Sanjay. Your higher will is Arjun. Your inner guide is Chris. And every moment you are choosing which army to feed. Will you respond with patience or react with anger? Will you meditate or be distracted by entertainment? Will you give in to restlessness or return to silence? The Gita is not about choosing sides in the world. It's about choosing sides within. This first verse is not just a question. It is an invitation to look within, honestly, humbly, and to see the truth of what we are nurturing in ourselves. Are we ruled by ego or guided by soul? Are we observing or just reacting? As this series unfolds, one shloka at a time, may you discover that Kurukshetra is not a place outside, but a process of awakening inside. We will begin with the response of Sanjay, verse 2, and continue our journey inward, verse by verse. Stay tuned, and if this path calls to your heart, do like the video and subscribe to the channel to receive the next offering. May the light of the Gita guide your inner war until peace reigns within.